Speaking of silencing doubters, bro, we're gonna go to a lightweight bout here, and here we
Mhm.
saw Paddy Pimblett absolutely assault Michael Chandler in the later rounds before getting the finish. Michael Chandler, for some reason in this fight, resorted to wrestling. It was very clear to see that he was going to burn his arms out, and I think Paddy kind of
Mm.
recognized that his power wasn't as much of a factor later on, and that kind of spurred him on,
Yeah.
got him to the ground, and yeah, just assaulted him, bro. Plain and
Yes,
simple. PG.
it was. Assault is the key word. Yeah. I mean, I want to bring up an image quickly, if I could, for the just for people to see. But I do think assault is the key word here. I don't know if you guys can see the screen.
Yeah,
Can
maybe
you,
zoom in a little bit
must I zoom in a little bit?
if you can. Yeah, here we go. That's Michael Chandler being
That's the fight.
assaulted by Paddy
It was
Pimblett.
that was the beginning of the end there. But yeah, to come back to the fight, I think Michael Chandler, when I noticed we started doing, he almost abandoned the game plan for me is when he was taking those calf kicks, AD. Because the calf kicks were actually money for Paddy the Baddy. Michael didn't like it. You could see he was stepping a bit weirdly on it as well. And he then turned the fight into an aggression fight, which is what Michael Chandler does all the time. And the way that he was getting those takedowns were just bad for me. It wasn't technique driven. It was very much just power driven. And you could see, like you said, he was burning himself out. And another thing also, Michael Chandler doesn't do submissions. He's not a submission grappler. He's the typical American wrestling grappling style. So it's just get top position or get dominant position and hold it there for as long as you can before moving to the next one. But this is MMA. You can get tapped out in seconds. People can grab a limb and then you finish. And I think as the fight progressed, you could see Paddy the Baddy was getting more confident. In fact, after the round one, Paddy was like, "I think I got this, man. I think I got him locked down," because Michael Chandler was tired. And you said it first when he went into that corner. He's like, "Yo, why is he gasping for air like this?" He was too explosive. He was being way too explosive when he didn't need to be. If I was Michael Chandler, he should have used his jab, keep it standing. He was doing the right thing by walking Paddy down. But when he was walking Paddy down, he was tipping his head and throwing hard over and stuff. He wasn't being creative, and you
I
know
mean,
it,
that's what he does, though, bro. You know
that
what I
is
mean?
what he
So
does.
it was surprising for me to see him gas out because that's how he normally fights.
Yeah, I think the
You know?
wrestling was, but the wrestling was is what added to that
Mm,
exhaustion. I made
I
him
think
tired a lot
so.
faster than what he wanted to be. I think if Michael Chandler had to wrestle later in the fight, in fact, yeah, I didn't think he didn't have to wrestle in this fight at all. Period. I do think that Paddy is the superior grappler here. I didn't think he didn't have to do that, but he did that, and that for me is indication that age, firstly, adrenaline dump after round one. His arms were burnt out. Everything was burnt out. He was getting tagged in ways because every time he was coming into the void, Paddy would just throw uppercuts, and then all of it to land the whole time. And Michael didn't have an answer for that. So and we also know Michael doesn't kick, so you couldn't tip anything. You couldn't do
Mm.
anything to sort of reprogram the fight into his favor. So for me, it was like after round one, I think the end was inevitable for me. I think Mike was gonna get beaten, even though I said Mike to win in the preview by knockout. That was his best chance. But I did say Paddy was gonna tap him out if it was gonna go a little bit further, and there we go. That's all she wrote for me, and I'm not disappointed even. I'm just like that's Michael Chandler for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much more I can say it, but like, I'm just not a fan of the Chandler wagon. So yeah,
Never
I don't
been,
know, bro. But
never been.
anyway, um, we'll keep it moving forward to what's next year. So PG, can you put my screen back up
Oh, sorry, I didn't know it was off.
on the share? There we go. Got some rankings here, and of course, Islam Makhachev still the champion here. Michael Chandler likely to slide, but I guess more importantly here is what would be next for Paddy Pimblett. But we'll start with Michael Chandler.
Oh, it was Mike. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, we can start with Mike Chandler. Yeah, bro. What do you think?
To be honest with you, Eddie, I'm having a tough time seeing high-profile matches from Michael Chandler. 38 years old, 39. I just don't know if there's anything that he can campaign for in the UFC. He's on a what 3-fight losing streak, 2 fight 3-fight
Mm,
losing streak.
three
Um,
now,
he's,
yeah.
and that's what. Yeah, that in his total fights in the UFC, 7 fights, and he only won 2 of those 7 fights, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. So that's
to the
really
five.
nothing. You actually can't take that record, that resume, and campaign for something high level. So he's gonna have to, if he still wants to fight, unfortunately, fight down the card. And there's obviously, I think Nato Moicano is fighting Pernil Dariush, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that was most the fight that was initially supposed to happen
Yes,
when he
yes,
the
yes, you're
Islam
right.
fight was short notice. Yeah,
Yes, you're correct. And then Benoit Santini is fighting against Joe Alvarez. So the only other athletes that don't have a fight there is Perceive, Grant Dawson, Ignacio Bahamondes. And
mm.
for all three of those names, particularly with Ignacio Bahamondes and Grant Dawson, they would take the fight because it's a name that they could springboard off, right?
Yeah,
But other than that, there's no one else that Mike can really fight in the division. Mateus Gamrot's
yeah,
not going to take it. Benil Dariush is not going to take it. Renato Moicano won't take it either. Um, and I think realistically, Chandler only has one more fight left, if we're being completely honest. With a performance like that, I can only see one more fight left in his tank. If he's
yeah.
lucky, if he even
He's
gets
gonna
him.
slide down now.
Yes, quite
So yeah,
dramatically.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
If
I
anything,
said yeah,
sorry, my last thing is on that one is for Chandler, and I'll conclude here. Retirement fight, next fight against your old-time rival Patricio Pitbull, and it will be quite a big thing because for Chandler it's retirement. For Pitbull it's like, because Pitbull can't fight anyone else in the top 10 now.
mm,
He's gonna have to, excuse me, he's fighting featherweight now. So if I would do it, I'll do a super fight, make them fight catchweight. They're long-time rivals. They fight the same. Pitbull doesn't do enough to guarantee another big fight in the UFC, really. So I would say give him his old rival in Mike Chandler as a retirement fight for Mike.
yeah. It does make sense. I mean, they did fight on the same card now, so the turnaround makes sense. I
That's
just
true.
wonder in terms of how long it would take to turn Chandler around because if he could do it in maybe 3 or 4 months, I doubt it after the way he took a beating there. But if he could, I would just say go Dustin Poirier, bro. Let them both retire on the same night. They can
There we
both kind
go.
of ride off into the sunset together, type of thing. But
The
yeah,
second fight.
I don't care to be honest with you, bro. I really don't care. I'm over Michael Chandler now. He must retire. Whatever, bro. I just don't care about Michael Chandler anymore. But like you said, I think he'll take that. Faziev would take that fight.
Yes.
Um, Mundes
Bahamondes.
good fight.
Yeah.
I think those are good
Even
fights.
Dawson.
I'd watch
Even
it.
Grant.
I
I'd
don't
also
really
watch
know
it.
too much about Grant Dawson, but Mundes and Fiziev, I'd say go for that, but I'd watch those fights. Put that on a
I will
fight night
take it.
main event maybe, or even on a
Yeah.
pay-per-view. Yeah,
If
that's where
I'm
I
if
stand on
I'm
the matter there.
if
Yeah.
I'm either one of them, Fazeev or Bahamondes, I campaign for that, bro. I'm like, give me Chandler next week. I would
Mm.
say honestly, because it'll be a good springboard for either one of them to get back into that contention. Because look at that names, bro, and all those fighters are either locked up with an opponent or they're waiting to climb that rankings. It's a bit of a sticky situation because it's so competitive.
Yeah, but we do need to talk about the winner of the fight. More importantly, bruh, Paddy the Baddy. What's next for him?
So he initially called out the top five at the end of his fight. The names that he did say was Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, or Dustin Poirier. He didn't say Max Holloway. He didn't say Dan Hooker, and he specifically said "fuck Arman Tsarukyan." That was the exact words that he said. So he's obviously campaigning for any one of those names. And to be quite honest with you, I think he can. I think he can take it. They're probably going to give him a Mateusz Gamrot, to be honest, or they might give him a Dan Hooker. Um, I don't know. I don't know if they will give him any one of the Astons. I do like the idea of Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler as a retirement fight, just because you can't give Dustin Poirier a fighter that is competing for a title contention in a
Exactly.
retirement fight. That doesn't make any sense. You can't. That's
Exactly.
unfair. That's unfair to the person that's climbing the ranks, like a Paddy Pimblett, for example, or Arman Tsarukyan. So I don't think you can give Dustin Poirier a contender like that. So Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, and then I would say personally, I would say Paddy the Baddy, Max Holloway. That would be the
Yeah.
best one for me.
Book it. Book it.
Yeah,
I said book it, bro.
that's
Yeah.
a that's a natural fight. I can't see him getting Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, or Arman Tsarukyan. Not right now. Especially that Ilya and dynamic with Islam maybe going to welterweight and the
Mm.
positions that Justin Gaethje, Oliveira, and Arman Tsarukyan put themselves in. I just don't think that Paddy the Baddy can jump into that bracket just yet. He has to fight someone else, not the Chandler. He has to get someone that's competing. There's Holloway or there's Dan Hooker. That's the top. That's the two for me.
Yeah, agreed, BG. I do agree there. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any thoughts here, drop us a comment in the comment section of the video and drop a like on the video and subscribe to Fighting with Friends.
Lego.